It is stepping up the polar's beneficial second to the current of response blue jacket penned on its sticking. That's part of wood stack was from the pole that it lacked should out of was Philip produced small gentleman taking a blue plastic chair as a support system. The top hat and distinguished suit is compelling. Yes. Consistently remain. It has not top yet solidified. It's about to though. It's pretty sick, you should see it. Gently polarized tail wages, it's delving time. Chapter 1. The Mediate. The thing is a peculiar crossroads, not of physical space, but of possibilities as a path diverging in probabilities. This is the essence of proposing a scenario where the very act of observation influences the traditional sense we're accustomed to, much akin to feigned feline, or a twist of A and B, existing in a superposition of states, each with its own set of potential outcomes, spins and taco/other Mexican food of preference. That's considered the default order, even when past the menu. Now, let's introduce an observer. This is him, armed with the capability to measure the spin of particle A along a specific axis. In the traditional large boat dock interpretation, the act of measurement would collapse the superposition of particle A into a definite state, thereby determining its spin, and the taco/other Mexican food of preference. That's considered the default order, even when past the menu. However, in the framework of the double fault paradox, the observer's measurement not only influences the outcome of particle A, but also retroactively affects the state of particle B, regardless of any distance between them, meaning that this time the taco/other Mexican food of preference, that's considered the default order even when past the menu, is subject to change without prior notice. Legally even, this concept might seem counterintuitive at first glance, reminiscent of E=mc²'s criticism of quantum entanglement as spooky action at a distance. However, the experimental findings supporting the double fault paradox have provided compelling evidence in its favor, albeit subtly. Let's delve into the experiment that served as the catalyst for this theory. In a groundbreaking series of trials conducted at the Hamster Wheel Institute (HSW-DR), Pickled Gherkin devised a setup involving entangled particles traversing separate paths toward detectors, akin to forks in a road. The key innovation lay in the introduction of a delayed choice mechanism, where the observer's decision to measure the spin of particle A was made after its entangled counterpart, particle B, had already reached its destination. Upon analyzing the experimental data, a pattern emerged, much like the Apple moment related to tree and spinning water to get it higher in altitude. Regardless of the observer's delayed choice, the measurement of particle A seemed to retroactively influence the outcomes observed in particle B. Moreover, the degree of correlation between the two particles states defied classical expectations, hinting at a deeper connection beyond current comprehension, and thus meaning that for every pair of particles being watched, there could exist a moment when the taco/other Mexican food of preference, that's considered the default order even when past the menu, would in fact have the option to change entirely without prior notice. Analogously, even a pair of synchronized dancers performing on opposite ends of a stage being physically separated could have movements remain harmoniously coordinated. Similarly, in the open lobbies of quantum mechanics, particles entangled through the double fault paradox exhibit a choreography of states linked despite their spatial disconnect. However, that only goes for the open lobbies, as there are 7 closed lobbies, which incidentally most likely possess most significant value related to the most up-to-date spottings. This evidence only remains inconclusive. Either way, the implications of this phenomenon extend outside the confines of mainstream theoretical physics, offering tantalizing glimpses into the nature of true reality itself. If the act of observation can retroactively influence quantum events, what does this imply for our understanding of causality, and the scene openly of secret far-evolving that would have gone? Chapter 2. The Immediate. One possible interpretation of the double fault paradox lies in the not yet classified lobbies of binary retrocausality, where future events exert influence on the past. While this notion might appear counterintuitive within the framework of classical physics, it finds resonance in quantum probabilities made in the form of superior technologies. They're cis-woven of timelines, where each decision, each observation, creates ripples that reverberate backward and forward through the existence. In this, the double fault paradox represents a point of convergence where past, present, and future intertwine. This could be graphically represented in a display of quantum entanglement, where you would have a clear table of all the orders available for the Mexican food. We can assume that the default orders by the particles and the observer are both included, and yours as well, certainly. Now, it's essential to acknowledge the skepticism surrounding such bold conjectures. Critics may rightfully question the feasibility of retrocausal influences, and demand empirical evidence to substantiate these claims. However, inquiry lies bearing capacity to push the boundaries of understanding even in the face of uncertainty, without smashing cream interfaces. The double fault paradox stands. It also sits. It stits. It stands. Let's break it down further. Goldfish and Dibs' idea ability position in the tank, by recounting vital idles down an activity to travel to sea, feeling the need for a change of scenery, specifically mentions that whenever the room progressively head to sea, a peculiar establishment with a unique assortment of lodges near the strip drinks sweet warm time. Part 2. Chapter 3. Acting in the immediate. We are not here ironically. There is something for which to delve deeper into the mathematical underpinnings and experimental verifications of the double fork paradox, as well as explore avenues for future simulations to expand our understanding instead of tipping systems against each other. Very unique. And peaks on the valley. It's very fish clarity handheld intelligence studies at the moment, in the water at least, with very little filters in general to perform. Chapter 3a. Mathematical Mathematically formalizing the double fork paradox entails navigating the salvage landscape, where conventional notions of causality and determinism give way to probabilistic frameworks. This approach involves utilizing the formalism of entanglement, coupled with principles of retrocausality, to describe the observed phenomena, which is not salvage tidal rundown plastic. A foundational aspect of this revolves around the concept of entangled states represented by the framework of superposition. Here, we assign a state vector to the composite system comprising particles A and B, encapsulating their joint state. If the state is Colorado, we skip, and if the state constitutes also Columbus, we also skip. We in this case is the algorithm, so as not to do it manually. To give the entire thing more home feel moment, the name of the algorithm is Detlef, and Detlef is part of a larger subset of algorithms curated and housed by PSYS. Through the application of operators corresponding to measurements along specific axes, Detlef can calculate the probabilities of various outcomes, accounting for the retroactive influence posited by the double fork paradox. So that's that on that. And now stuffers could drive to Lust Tango briefing cliff bounce of what went down, primarily kinked feature enhancing into a lines count stopwatch open.